Let's get you started off with some news right now. Not a day after Amazon appeared before the Congressional Antitrust Committee, they revealed their profits. And guess what? They were record-breaking. Amazon doing okay during all of this, and here is what they reported. So the profit doubled since last year during the same period to $5.2 billion is what they reported. With but their net sales overall were $88.9 billion as the pandemic and the ensuing rush to buy everything online actually really made a huge surge for them. So during the second quarter of 2020, Amazon increased its grocery delivery capacity by over 160%, tripling its grocery pickup locations, as that again was a booming business over the last few months. They also said that they paid $500 million in hazard pay bonuses. Now that's to account for some of the issues that workers have brought up over unsafe work conditions. They said they spent $4 billion on coronavirus-related expenses like protective equipment and so on. But they also said they created over 175,000 new jobs, and that they're bringing 125,000 more on. This is all part of their statement, as all of these companies are reporting their profit. But again, Amazon, $5.2 billion in profit for quarter two, breaking their own record. So they're doing okay during all of this. Nonetheless, that's all something that's probably going to be taken into account when the Antitrust Committee continues on their investigation. But you can read more about that at digitaltrends.com. Continuing on with trending news, let's go back a couple of weeks ago to the great Twitter hack of 2020. As you recall, I believe it was July 15th when a Bitcoin scam took over a number of different very big accounts on Twitter and started posting trying to fish people to actually go and donate money to this thing. It was a scam. Now Twitter is revealing slowly a little bit more information about what happened. They said that what it was a few employees were targeted in a phone spear phishing attack. So a phone spear phishing, what generally that probably means is that somebody actually called and was able to solicit this information from these employees, whether they impersonated someone or however that worked. They said it could be posing as colleagues or members of Twitter's own security team, and got these people to reveal their credentials. And it shows how good a lot of these spear phishing campaigns are. A lot of us think, no, there's no way I could fall victim to that, but these are employees at a major tech firm that fell victim to it. Nonetheless, that all resulted in about 130 accounts getting hacked. They tweeted from 45. They accessed the direct messages of 36, and they also downloaded some data for up to, they said 7 accounts. So they actually corrected what they had previously said 8. But nonetheless, big news coming out of that, just showcasing how much data they had access to. Now, Twitter has said they've restricted access to even some of their employees now as they figure out how to make sure this doesn't happen again. But an update on that great Twitter hack. You can read more about it at digitaltrends.com. Continuing on here with trending news, let's go to TikTok. Now, they were not investigated this week necessarily by the Antitrust Committee, but there are investigations going on. But that's not the only thing they're going against. Triller, which is a rival app, has now put in a patent lawsuit against them for some things that they say they created and that Twitter has been using. So this patent infringement suit claims that the systems and methods for creating music videos synchronized with an audio track was something that Triller already had, and they want to go after TikTok for this. Now, there's also the possibility that Triller could be going after other competing firms as well. That could be Dubsmash, could be Reels for when that launches on Instagram, and a couple of other ones. But this is particularly just against TikTok, and this is a slew of things that TikTok is facing right now, but this lawsuit coming out there saying that they also had a green screen video effect that TikTok is using that was something that Triller had already created. So we'll see where the lawsuit goes. That's what's going in right now, but there is something that's pretty well timed on with this lawsuit, and that's the fact that there is an investigation into TikTok right now and whether or not they're going to be banned from the United States. There's a security investigation where we expect an announcement actually could be any time. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said it could be at the end of the week. It's the end of the week, so we'll see if that gets announced. But Triller, it's being reported, is raising $200 to $300 million during this talk because if TikTok is banned, they're sitting in a good position. But nonetheless, that's the news. A patent lawsuit out against TikTok from Triller. Read more about it at digitaltrends.com. Continue on trending news. Let's talk about new phones. Now, we know Samsung's going to have their event next week, but Google is going to beat them to the punch reportedly with the new Google Pixel 4a. This is a highly anticipated phone following on the Google Pixel 3a from last year. This is the mid-tier phone from Google, and it's going to be on August 3rd, according to a teaser that they put out showcasing it. So this went on a bunch of their social media devices. Now, if you take a look at the ads, actually, it's kind of clever. It looks like, you know, that the gibberish words that go on there when you're just showcasing a document before anybody types anything in. But if you read it, it's got words like megapixelum, low lightina, and long-lastingest batterium. So all those are in there. So it's rumored to have a 5.8-inch OLED display. It's going to use the Qualcomm Snapdragon 730 processor. Again, this is all based on leaks, and we're kind of seeing some right there. A lot of times these get leaked ahead of time. It's reportedly going to have 6 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage, and a 12 megapixel camera, and a price of around $350, which, if so, it's going to be a very good competitor to the iPhone SE, and probably a pretty good follow-up to that Google Pixel 3a. But we'll have to see more on Monday. So again, that's August 3rd is when it's anticipated, based on what they put out, that we're going to get to see this phone, and then there'll be a lot more phone news coming up, so definitely check all that out at digitaltrends.com. You know, trending news, let's go back to Amazon, but we're not talking about shopping, we're talking about the internet. So this is something that Amazon's been planning for a while, and they just received FCC approval for Project Kuiper. Now, this is their plan to put satellites up around the globe to bring 5G, actually they said that could help with 5G access, but mainly to bring broadband internet access to more people. You may have heard about this before because that's Starlink from SpaceX is already doing this. They have quite a few satellites up already, but this Amazon plan would let them put up a constellation of 3,236 satellites, and they said they plan to invest $10 billion into this to bring this global internet in. They are going to be focusing on the United States at first. I mean, I will say, something we've talked about here before, broadband internet access is very, very important, and there's a large number of people who do not have access. One estimate put it at 4 billion people don't have access to that. So this is a big move. As we see more companies do this, some of the issues, though, are issues we're seeing with Starlink in the fact that all of these satellites up there are kind of playing havoc with astronomers, with different telescopes. So we'll see how this goes in, if Amazon maybe has a plan to mitigate some of those issues. But nonetheless, they do have approval. We don't know when they're going to be launching it, but Project Kuiper is something that could be bringing satellite internet to you soon. Read about it, digitaltrends.com. And finally, big space news tomorrow. So SpaceX, of course, sent Bob and Doug up to the International Space Station with that Crew Dragon capsule, and now they're going to be heading back down. The plan is on Saturday, August 1st, that the 2 astronauts are going to hop back into the Crew Dragon capsule. They're going to depart from it and then get a safe distance away. The way it works is they then do 4 different firings of it from their rockets to actually get in position. The journey could take around 6.5 hours. It kind of depends on where they are in position. The plan is to splash down in Florida, but they don't know exactly where off of Florida yet because it kind of depends on what the weather's going to be and where they're going to actually land, and then they'll be recovered from sea by NASA and SpaceX. So to explain a little bit of what you'll see tomorrow, because it's going to be a very big event. They're going to have like a farewell ceremony that's going to be going on. Then they're going to be taking it from that, and the farewell ceremony starts at about 6:10 a.m. Pacific time, 9:10 Eastern, and then the undocking is about 2:15 Pacific, 5:15 Eastern p.m. And then the whole thing goes on. But it's going to take about 2 hours from undocking before it lands on the Earth. They're going to have to go through a number of different things, including they have once they get through the atmosphere at 18,000 feet, they've got a parachute that'll deploy, and then they've got another one that'll deploy at about 6,000 feet to bring them down to a safe landing speed. But definitely going to be an exciting moment. That'll complete that Crew Dragon capsule demo. Demo 2 is technically the name of the mission, and then that will officially make it completely in compliance with all the rules for SpaceX to be bringing people up to the International Space Station, and there's more launches that are planned beyond that. So they already have the astronauts picked out for it. But still, a big mission tomorrow. Will be really interesting and fascinating to see that. So you can read more about it at digitaltrends.com.